The night before it all unraveled, I remember feeling a mix of excitement and nerves. 2 days until the wedding. 2 days until I'd be standing in front of my fiancé Bob, vowing to spend the rest of my life with her. It was everything I had ever dreamed of. A perfect union between two people who had built their lives together over years of laughter, love, and late-night talks about our future. But as I lay there in bed that evening, staring at the ceiling while Bob slept soundly beside me, I couldn't shake this nagging feeling. Something wasn't right. Maybe it was the way she avoided eye contact when we talked about the wedding plans earlier that week. Or maybe it was how often she checked her phone during dinner, excusing herself from conversations without explanation. Whatever it was, these little red flags were starting to pile up, and deep down I knew something was off. We met in college 4 years ago. Back then life was simple. We both loved movies, hiking, and long drives through the countryside. Our relationship blossomed naturally, filled with inside jokes and quiet moments where neither of us needed to say anything because we just got each other. After graduation, things got serious fast. She moved into my apartment after landing a spot in grad school, and soon enough, talk of marriage came up. Neither of our families could afford much, so the financial burden fell on me. Over time, I saved every penny I could, working multiple jobs to make sure we could have the wedding of her dreams. By the time we booked the venue, hired the caterers, and secured the band, the total cost had climbed to $96,000. But it didn't matter. I was willing to do whatever it took to give her everything she deserved. Fast forward to the present, 2 days before the big day, and everything seemed to be falling perfectly into place. The invitations were sent out, the guest list finalized, and even the weather forecast promised clear skies for the outdoor ceremony. Everyone was excited, our friends, family, coworkers. There were 75 confirmed guests, many traveling from out of state, ready to celebrate our union. And yet, despite all the joy surrounding me, I couldn't help but feel uneasy. That Friday evening, Bob suggested inviting some friends over for drinks before heading out to the bars downtown. Among them was Ricky, my best friend since kindergarten. He and Bob had grown close over the past few years, often hanging out together whenever I worked late shifts or traveled for business. First, I thought nothing of it. Why would I? They were just friends, right? The night started innocently enough, at least, that's what I told myself. We went to a local hookah lounge, bringing our own bottles to save money. As the hours passed, though, the atmosphere grew more chaotic. People laughed louder, danced clumsily, and drank heavily. By the time we left the lounge, most of us were buzzed, including Bob and Ricky. When the bars finally closed, only 4 of us remained standing. Me, Bob, Ricky, and another couple who eventually decided to head home early. As they walked out the door, leaving Bob, Ricky, and me alone in the apartment, I noticed something strange. Bob kept glancing at her phone, unlocking it briefly before quickly locking it again. Meanwhile, Ricky appeared unusually distracted, constantly checking his own device whenever Bob wasn't looking. My gut tightened. What were they hiding? Surely not. No, that couldn't be possible. Not 2 days before my wedding. Still doubt gnawed at me. Before heading out for a quick beer run, I called my best buddy Jake, asking him to join me. If anything felt wrong, I wanted backup. Once we returned to the apartment, the sight that greeted me shattered any remaining trust one had left. Bob was completely topless, straddling Ricky on the couch. Their lips were locked in a sloppy kiss, oblivious to the world around them. For a moment I froze, unable to believe what I was seeing. This couldn't be real. Not my fiancé. Not my best friend. Not now, not ever. What the hell is this? I shouted, dropping the beers onto the floor. The sound jolted them apart, reality crashing down like a tidal wave. Bob scrambled to cover herself, her face pale with shock, while Ricky sat frozen, wide-eyed and trembling. "You son of a bitch," I growled, stepping closer. Adrenaline surged through my veins, fueling an anger I hadn't known I possessed. With one swift motion, I grabbed Bob by the arm and yanked her off Ricky, shoving her backward. Then I turned my attention to Ricky, raising my fist and delivering 2 hard punches. One to his cheekbone, another to his jaw. He crumpled to the ground, unconscious within seconds. I don't remember much after that. All I know is that I called Bob's parents immediately, demanding they come pick her up. They arrived within minutes, still groggy from being woken up in the middle of the night. Her father tried to reason with me, pleading for forgiveness, but I wouldn't hear it. "The wedding is off," I said firmly, my voice cold and unyielding. "Get her out of my house." In the days that followed, my mind reeled. How could this happen? How could someone I trusted so deeply betray me like this? Questions swirled endlessly in my head, each one cutting deeper than the last. Had this been going on for months? Was Ricky involved willingly? Or had he been manipulated? Most importantly, why hadn't I seen it coming? To find answers, I searched her phone obsessively, uncovering a trail of texts, photos, and videos that confirmed my worst fears. They weren't just casual flings. They had been planning this betrayal for weeks, carefully timing it to coincide with the wedding weekend. Each message dripped with deceit, painting a picture of a relationship far more intimate than I cared to imagine. Before this happened, I truly believed Bob and I had a strong foundation. Sure, we argued sometimes. What couple doesn't? But overall, our bond was solid. We shared hobbies, supported each other's goals, and made plans for the future. She encouraged me to pursue promotions at work, and I helped her navigate the challenges of grad school. Together, we created a life neither of us ever thought possible. Now, those memories felt hollow, tainted by the truth of her actions. Every photo we took together, every gift we exchanged, every promise we made, all of it reduced to ash in the wake of her betrayal. The emotional toll was overwhelming. In the beginning, I oscillated between rage and despair, unable to focus on anything beyond the pain coursing through me. Work became unbearable, and sleep eluded me entirely. Friends tried to reach out, offering words of comfort and advice, but nothing could dull the ache in my chest. Even mundane tasks, like grocery shopping or paying bills, felt insurmountable. Eventually, I sought professional help, booking sessions with a therapist who specialized in trauma recovery. Slowly but surely, I began piecing myself back together. Exercise became my outlet, allowing me to channel pent-up frustration into physical activity. New friendships formed, introducing me to people who understood what I was going through. Online support groups provided a safe space to vent and learn from others who had faced similar situations. Through it all, one thing became abundantly clear. I deserved better. No matter how painful the journey ahead might be, I refused to let this experience define me. Divorce proceedings began shortly after, ensuring a clean break from the past and paving the way for a brighter future. A year later, sitting in my newly renovated apartment, I reflect on everything that's transpired. Life isn't easy. It never will be. But I've learned valuable lessons along the way. Trust is fragile, easily broken but difficult to repair. Communication is key, especially in relationships. And most importantly, self-worth cannot depend on another person. It must come from within. Today, I'm grateful for the friends and family who stood by me during the darkest days. Their unwavering support gave me the strength to keep moving forward, even when hope felt distant. While scars remain, they serve as reminders of how far I've come. And though I may never fully understand why Bob chose to betray me, I've come to accept that sometimes people disappoint. It's not personal, it's simply part of life. For now, I focus on building a new chapter, one filled with possibilities and promise. Who knows what lies ahead? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. I'll face it head on, armed with resilience, determination, and a heart ready to love again.